All right. Do the Titans and Colts suck more than the Texans? These are the type of topics that you come up with whenever you're covering the worst team in the league. And yes, I'm very aware of how much of a joke the Houston Texans currently are. I'm very, very, very aware of what a joke the Texans are. We were talking about moral victories. We're talking about losing over winning. We're talking about all these types of things. We're already arguing about what quarterback to take. Hell, we got portion of the fan base talking about tanking for a quarterback that's not even going to be in the upcoming draft. So I know how bad this sucks. It sucks. It sucks that we had to endure a couple seasons of the worst front office work that you'll ever see. With Jack Easterby and Bill O'Brien. I'll say Jack first because I think he was as big of a part of it as anything. And I would probably give him the largest slice of pie. It sucks that you had to go through that. It sucks that you had to go through a quarterback wanting no part of you because of that. It sucks that Deshaun Watson had the off-field stuff. That sucked. It sucks that David Culley was a joke as a head coach and Lovie Smith's even worse than David Culley at this point. That sucks. It all sucks. And we don't know what the future holds. No idea. So I had to go a little 8 Mile and just lay out everything bad that you can say about the Texans because I'm very aware of it. And I've covered it. I've been critical of it, probably more critical than anyone. And I'm very aware that it's sad that this is where I'm at and this is where we're at. But you know what? Does it suck as much as the current state of the Tennessee Titans and Indianapolis Colts? My answer would be no. It doesn't. It doesn't suck as much around here as it does in Tennessee and Indianapolis. And let's just discuss it in two sections. Let's discuss it in the right now, the 2022 season, and then let's discuss it in the future. Let's start with 2022. What were the realistic best case scenario expectations for the Houston Texans? 7 wins? Something like that. I mean, and people are laughing. I'm just saying, like in a perfect world, these close games, 7 wins. What are you really accomplishing there? You're still going to have the same roster. You're going to have worse draft equity. What are you sitting there? Maybe 2 in the top 15? Instead of 3 in the top 32, including the first pick of the first round. You can make a case that the Texans being a disappointing team this year actually benefits them more in the long run than it would have had they overachieved. I know there's some football hardos that might disagree with that, but you can make that case. Especially if you think the number 1 pick, no matter who it is going to be a huge difference maker. You win the 4 games or whatever you were expected or that Vegas had, and you win more, you don't get that guy without making a trade. So you make a case that this actually played out for the long term better than it would have. And I think you also got to take into account that it's not like you have some young, long-term head coach that could potentially build off this. You have Lovie Smith. We know what Lovie Smith is. We knew he was a short-term guy. So you can make a case, and I think it would be a valid case that the Texans, when it comes to 2022, underachieving actually benefited them. And now you have the $75 million in dead cap coming off the books, near the top of the league in cap space. You have the draft equity, and you're probably looking for a new head coach, and you can take things wherever you want to take them. However you want to take them, you can take them. If you want to draft a coach that you think is perfect for this quarterback, You can bring him in here and you have the flexibility to do that and you can figure it out. So that's the Texans' 2022 outlook and future outlook. Now let's look at the Indianapolis Colts. The Indianapolis Colts, many people thought they would win the division this year. For the fifth time in as many years, you tried to bring in a veteran quarterback, hadn't worked out. Still looking for that quarterback, still a quarterback away. You fired your coach in Frank Reich. He's gone. Jim Irsay looks like he's gone batshit crazy. Your offensive line, which was the strength of your team for a long time, sucks now. Not good. Jonathan Taylor got banged up. Darius Leonard's banged up. You don't have a ton of young talent. And most importantly, you got an owner who's gone batshit crazy. Didn't even allow Frank Reich to finish the season. Brought in Jeff Saturday. He's talking all kinds of crazy stuff. The general manager, who is one of the most respected general managers in the NFL, isn't even making decisions right now. I saw Zach Kiefer say yesterday on McAfee, and he covers the Colts better than anyone, that, you know, these last few big decisions that have been made, they aren't Ballard decisions. I would take his word as the gospel on that. What's there to be excited about with them? With the Colts? Jim Irsay is going to bring in a new GM. He's going to bring in a new coach. Going to find a quarterback. I mean, that's a shit show. I mean, would you trade the Texans roster right now for the Colts roster and all assets? I'm not saying that the Colts don't have a more talented roster, but would you trade the Texans roster / assets for the Colts? Hell no, you wouldn't. They would do that in a heartbeat. So the Colts have been an absolute joke. They might be the biggest joke in the NFL right now, honestly. So there's one team. Tennessee Titans. The Tennessee Titans, Kevin Byard said it best yesterday. He essentially said, yeah, we might get into the playoffs, but we're not a threat. We're not going to do a damn thing when we get in the playoffs. What about them? The Tennessee Titans. What do you think? She's going crazy. The Tennessee Titans right now, they're kind of in no man's land. They're going to be looking for a quarterback after the season. They just fired their general manager. They lost 4 straight games. You think you're going to move on from Ryan Tannehill. When you do bring in that new quarterback, who's he going to throw to? Because you got rid of A.J. Brown. Who knows what happens with Burks? I don't think he's going to be A.J. Brown. And you're kind of on a mediocre treadmill. The Titans are basically sitting on a hamster wheel chasing a piece of cheese, piece of Super Bowl cheese. You're not going to catch it. What are you going to do? And I think Mike Vrabel is one of the best coaches in the league, but at this point, I mean, does it look like it's going to get better there? Some are saying he's getting in Bill O'Brien territory now, where Vrabel's trying to run stuff. Jeffrey Simmons about to be paid, going for one of the best bargains in the league to going to have to pay the man. Derrick Henry, I don't want to sleep on Derrick Henry, but Derrick Henry's been kind of the straw that stirs the drink there. How much longer do you think Derrick Henry's going to go? Not too much longer. Titans are kind of a shit show too. Jacksonville's really the only team in the division that you look at and you say, okay, they got some serious momentum. Trevor Lawrence, last 4 weeks, one of the best quarterbacks in the NFL. We knew this was going to happen. They've kind of turned it around. They're feeling themselves. They're building on stuff. They control their own destiny. So Jacksonville has to be feeling the best about themselves. Trent Baalke might have saved his job. But as bad as things are with the Houston Texans, it's not as bad as two teams that have been the top teams in the division for a long, long time. Tennessee Titans, Indianapolis Colts. Maybe some of you disagree. I wouldn't trade their situations for the Texans. I definitely wouldn't. Not at all. Now, the Texans, though, when they look at this, and you're assuming you're trying to compete with your other teams in the division, although you're not just trying to win division titles. If the Colts and Titans are going to be looking for general managers, do you look at it as you have a head start with Nick Caserio? Or do you look at it as this is an opportunity where we can bring in a general manager too that can do his thing? That's something Cal McNair and company are going to ask. But if you ask me, I would take the Texans' assets, the young talent on the roster, which isn't a ton, take it over the Colts and the Titans. $100. FF says the Jags, the team to look out for if they surround Trevor Lawrence with talent. No doubt. John Douglas. Only thing that sucks more than the 2022 Texans are Dyson vacuums. Okay. I don't know what that means, but I'll take your word for it. Imagine the Texans drafting a Ryan Leaf, Todd Gurley, and Pac-Man Jones like draft. Never say never. Okay. John, you're on one today. What about this coaching staff? We stuck with Lovey. I don't think so. I don't think you're stuck with Lovey at all. James Smith, from your show this morning, confront that girl package thief. You're a big guy. I think you could take her, grow a pair. Shut up, dude. Moron. There's someone like stealing packages here. I'm not gonna confront anyone that's deranged enough. I got the video. I'm not gonna confront anyone that's deranged enough to come in like a crackhead and stuff and get shot for that. So yeah, James, why don't you confront someone, dude? Hardo. Appreciate you listening though, very much. Ain't about no grow a pair though. You should never, like, if you see someone stealing something, especially if they're not a threat to you or anything like that, it's one thing to get the job done, but I'm damn sure not confronting any crackhead over anything that's not immediate danger. Texans, weird rant, but James is a listener, so shout out to James. Appreciate you, man. Last question from Corey. Can you talk about why you're confident Lovey will be gone? I've lost faith. I mean, I'm confident. What do you mean? Like, we talk about it all the time. I'm confident. Why? Because I think that the front office is watching what's going on. I think they're watching the mood. I think they're watching Lovey melt down. I'm pretty confident. If it doesn't happen, then they're going to have to sell that, and that'll be you're damn sure not going to get me selling that. I will not be selling Lovie Smith returning. So there's not going to be an audible. There's not going to be an adjustment. If Lovie Smith's coming back, maybe the players can overcome the coaching, but yeah, I ain't going to be selling that. They'll have to sell that. But I don't think that's going to be the case. Subscribe to the channel at Landry Locker on Twitter, at Landry Locker on Instagram. Tomorrow, I think we're going to have a Texans player. I've been wanting to talk to Blake Cashman for a while. I think he seems like a pretty interesting dude. So we may talk to him at some point this week. Pre-game show with Sean on Saturday. We got the game as well. A little hump day tomorrow. James, didn't mean to call you a moron, although just give me a break. Like I was scared. Like, I'm not going to confront that. That's silly as hell. I shouldn't have even brought that one up. Appreciate y'all for listening. Subscribe at Landry Locker on Twitter, at Landry Locker on Instagram. Keep it going. It's going strong. It's only going to get better. No matter what happens, remember, we are all in this together.